welcome to the first episode of the SUNO APPNA podcast. I'm Samavia. I am a dermatology resident at Brown University. And today we have our first guest of the podcast. I'm so excited to invite Dr. Neelam Khan. Dr. Khan is a board certified dermatologist and the founder and medical director of Neely Dermatology and Aesthetics. She went to her undergrad at Vanderbilt University. She followed that by a research fellowship at University of Pennsylvania, and then she earned her MD degree at Georgetown University. For a residency, she was off to New York City, completing her dermatology training at SUNY Downstate. Outside of her impressive educational background, she's also a powerhouse leader and entrepreneur. She serves on several leadership committees, including the Skin of Color Society and the Women's Dermatologic Society. She's also the founder and president of the Crescent Dermatology Association. So it is our great honor to have Dr. Khan here as our guest today for the SUNO APPNA Cafe series. Welcome, Dr. Khan.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Khan.
Oh, yes, we have two Dr. Khans on this call.
We have two. Well, actually, Spivey, I was going to say, I have recently undergone a name change. So now I'm going by, it's Pakistani style though. So I'm going by Dr. first name as Dr. Neely.
Dr. Neely. Okay. Okay. Exciting. So we have Dr. Neely on our call.
Thank you.
All right. So let's take it back to the beginning. So tell us about where you were born and raised and where you went to school.
So I was actually born in Toronto, Canada, like many, many fellow Pakistanis who are actually Canadian and born in the land of all the desis, i.e. Toronto. And I, spent some time there, have lots of family there. I moved to Detroit, Michigan, when I was quite young. My dad matched there for residency and fellowship. So I had some time in Michigan, and then he started his first job in Memphis, Tennessee. So I would say all of the formative years of my adolescence were spent growing up in Memphis, Tennessee, which feels very random to a lot of people, but there is an amazing community of Pakistani, mostly physicians in Memphis, Tennessee, but also just like an incredible Muslim community there. So I loved growing up in Memphis, Tennessee, and that's where I'm from. But I came to DC for medical school at Georgetown and fell in love with DC. And so have pretty much stayed here since then, with the exception of my time in New York City for residency.
That sounds awesome. And what traditions in Memphis were you a part of? Like, Memphis is known for its music, its food, not the traditional like Pakistani customs and traditions that we're all used to.
Yes. Well, I would say, it's interesting. Like, I'm very excited to be on this SUNO APPNA podcast because the Memphis traditions, I would say there was a lot of random things growing up. Like, my mom would find things to take us to. And so she took us to like a rodeo once, and that was very Memphis. I went to an all-girls Episcopal school in Memphis, and there's a lot of things from my high school that were very unique to Memphis, like our father-daughter dance and things on like Beale Streets or at the Peabody Hotel. That was like always very Memphis growing up. But interestingly, in the world of like medicine and cities in the US, like Memphis is actually like a J1 waiver city. And so because of that, it's a city, but it is eligible for that in a type of way that you end up getting a lot of kind of foreign medical grads who are Pakistani in background who will train in Memphis, have their families in Memphis, decide to stay in Memphis, contribute to like the physician economy in Memphis. And so we actually have like an amazing APPNA subchapter in Memphis where I felt like I got a lot of like very beautiful exposure to Pakistani culture and like a Pakistani community, where I'm very proud to speak fluent Urdu. And I think just, people wouldn't think that of Memphis, Tennessee, but I think that was just, very intentional on the part of my parents. But I loved growing up in Memphis.
Yeah, that sounds so awesome. So was your family a part of APPNA growing up?
So we We started going to APPNA more so in late high school. So I would say
Okay.
kind of more of like a latecomer. Like I didn't grow up doing like the um, children of APPNA, or, I did do a lot with Saya when I was
Hmm.
young. But I was like older in Saya, not like the teenagers who are trying to get in. So
Right
kind of,
now, yeah.
getting into my 20s there. But yeah, I would say it was still a formidable age that I started attending APPNA, and my
Mhm.
sister and my brother and our whole family, we would go each year. And I would say overall, there weren't as many Pakistani kids who were my age in Memphis at the time.
Okay.
So I felt like that was a big perk of starting to go to APPNA really young, where I met a lot of girls my age, and it was really
Yeah.
nice to just have friends in different cities who had like a similar background and experience to what you had. And
Mhm.
it just really helped like expand my circle in ways that has been lovely. I mean, I'm still in touch with like
Yeah.
all of my friends that I made at the first UPNA I went to, like back when I was like 17, 18 years old.
Yeah. Yeah. So, did you feel as someone who did your training in the US that it was kind of difficult initially for you to fit in with the UPNA events? Because I know that American graduates are a little underrepresented in the UPNA community, and I think that's something that, is kind of also the point of this podcast is to remind American graduates and people of Pakistani heritage that APPNA is a space for people who did medical school locally, but also internationally. So, how did you feel as an American graduate when you were initially like joining these APPNA events and groups?
So I'd say, the background of UPNA, of course, having been started as, almost like an alumni organization for all of these physicians of Pakistani descent, who kind of originally like went to medical school in Pakistan.
Hmm.
That concept is definitely always there for UPNA, but I think that being a part of like this next generation that grew up going to UPNA, and having parents who are part of like, like you'd say first batch, the OGs of UPNA, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
But then I really think that there's so many different layers to UPNA as an organization, and it has grown so
Yeah.
tremendously. It has so many different facets of things that people can get involved in. And of course, there's definitely an element of like it can seem overwhelming at the beginning when someone goes to their first conference. But I think a lot of that is just because a lot of people have been going for years and they all already know each other.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so when you like, I actually remember how intimidating it was when I went to my first UPNA conference as a very young person,
Yeah.
because I remember seeing all these people who knew each other and I didn't know anyone. And so I felt like, okay, this is a little anxiety producing, but that was also the part of it that was so exciting, because I
Yeah.
think like I was just someone where I remember a lot of my friends actually, I made them on a bus where we were being bused from it was actually the Rose and Shingle Creek Hotel. So it's the
Oh,
same hotel that it's
wow.
at in
Yeah. Yeah.
Orlando.
Yeah.
But they were doing an event for Saya that was like off-site. And so they
Okay.
had gotten this bus. I did not know anyone at this event on this bus. And I sat down by myself and I sat next to a couple of girls who you just struck up conversation on whatever topic it was. And then all of a sudden, like, they were my new friends. And
That's
I feel like,
awesome.
yeah, so there's this concept of, I think the Pakistani community being in a space that's like, just all of us kind of recreating Pakistan in like this conference hotel for one weekend. I think there's a lot of people who are really open to meeting new
Hmm.
people, and you just have to kind of have those like vulnerable moments. And then all of a sudden, your first conference ends and you come out of there with so many new friends. And then when
Yeah.
you continue to go, you develop those friendships with new people. So it's for everyone.
Okay, that's awesome. That's great to hear. I actually went to my first UPNA conference this year as well, and I kind of felt similarly where I didn't know anyone. I knew like three or four people. And then you just kind of meet all these different people who are actually kind of in the same boat as you and just looking to make friends. So
Yeah.
that was awesome. All right. So going into kind of the UPNA events, how do you think that American graduates can maybe benefit from APPNA events or sessions that are currently happening. There's different wings of APPNA, as many people are aware. There's like the academic wing, there is the philanthropy wing, and I think a lot of people don't know about the programs and lecture series that APPNA really has to offer, and that's something we're really trying to work on this year, is making APPNA a little bit more visible. So, what do you think American graduates might be able to gain from like APPNA programs and events?
So yeah, I think that there is a ton happening in APPNA for all different forms of physicians that I think it, for the American graduates specifically, I would say like the academic track is definitely one of the areas where it makes the most sense to get involved, because those would be physicians who are already into the system, or even if they're trying to get into the system. The American system, there's such a nuance to how it functions and how it works that a lot of it is based on letters of recommendation, on OA rotations, on research, on, who those connections, that network that you have makes a very big difference. But I would say that that environment continues no matter where you are in your professional career. So as you know, like I just started my private practice in Washington, D.C. I lean on a lot of what you might call like APPNA uncles
Yeah, yeah.
who are not, American grads. They're foreign grads like my own father. And they have their own practices. They have been doing this for much longer than I have. So for any American grad, this is a tremendous resource for you to be like working alongside them on whatever initiatives an APPNA might have. So signing up to be on a committee and just gaining those friendships, it's very meaningful. And I think similarly, if you're someone who, say, you're not doing private practice, but you're on an academic track or whatever subspecialty focus you have, there's such an amazing variety of members of APPNA where you can always find someone that you just gain personal friendship, you gain a professional friendship with people. And so I find for the American grads, I really hope that that kind of meaning and their role like grows in APPNA, because it's really for everyone, and there's so much that they can benefit from. I've benefited tremendously.
Okay, awesome. That sounds great. So I have another question for you as someone who's a major physician leader, and you're leading a lot of efforts kind of uniting Pakistanis, but people of different cultures or minority backgrounds together to really have a voice in whatever medical community or niche they might be in. So a community like APPNA, where we have thousands of doctors, Pakistani doctors across the US, how do you think that this community is important for our culture and our voice within the United States?
I would say the Pakistani community and the APPNA community specifically plays a very important role in American society. As physicians, we are a major part of the workforce where, we're involved in American healthcare. And I would say there's a lot happening in the healthcare system here, some of which is great, and a lot of it that's not great, right? I think in concepts of foreign relations, but I'm going to say just general PR for the country of Pakistan, or what it means to be Pakistani. I think that our culture is one of the most beautiful cultures that exists, in terms of just how empathetic, how generous, how selfless, the values of hospitality, of I'd like to say, as Pakistani, these are things that just I get from my family, I get from our community, and being able to share those values with American society in a way that's positive. There's just so many different ways that when you get that many physicians who are Pakistani together, that's like the tip of the iceberg in terms of what we can do, elements of service, elements in research, elements in teaching, not just to other Pakistani physicians, but to many other physicians, to anyone who wants to benefit from the resources that APPNA has to offer.
Yeah.
I think that's where the role that we play is very important. And it's part of why, APPNA continues to grow at an incredible rate.
Okay, yeah, that all sounds great. And I think kind of unionizing all the American graduates and the newer graduates into joining UpNow would be great to have kind of a fresh culture and a fresh wave of people who are contributing new ideas and new projects and kind of trying to solve new modern day problems that maybe people who have been in UpNow for a while aren't even aware of.
Yeah. The
Okay.
intergenerational part of it, I
Yes,
think,
yes.
is
It's important
what's
here.
going, yes. And
Yeah.
I'd say that's a little more of like a new frontier. I mean, we've had bits and pieces of it, but I think
Mhm.
as an organization, really honing in on kind of the merging of those two identities. And I think it is going to naturally evolve as not just like the children, but then even like the grandchildren. Like,
Yes.
we're going to be the demanding ones in the society
Yes.
to say, like, look, we grew up in this organization even though we're not going to, etc. alumni reunion that they
Yes.
have, I am of Pakistani descent. And so I want to have a role. I want to be a part of the organization. But, as demanding as I am, when I see my children, like the grandchildren, I'm like, oh,
They'll be
Upna
more
better be
demanding.
ready for that generation to come in. And if they choose to be in medicine, like it's going to be amazing to see that next phase of
Yeah.
Upna. And I think it's really amazing and exciting. So yeah, we're going to have
Yeah.
to continue to evolve.
Yeah. And we have great leadership, I think, under Dr. Rao, who's taking into consideration a lot of the ideas of the next generation and reshaping UPNA and how it is today.
Yeah.
Okay, so I had another question just about your career and looking back at, the positives and as well as the challenges throughout your career. What is some advice you would give to yourself 10 or 15 years ago, looking back from where you are right now? And which might be helpful to people who are kind of going through this process as well right now, people who just graduated residency or thinking of starting their own practice, thinking of working in academic or private spheres.
This is a very good question. I would say the most important thing that I've learned from my life experiences thus far is that every single one of my most difficult, lowest, darkest moments in my professional journey are absolutely the reason why I am in the position that I am in today. And they have directly contributed to my success because I persevered through them. And I think for like any physician out there that's watching this and kind of wanting to apply this to their own life,
Yeah.
I would give credit to my mom. She always kind of raised me with this mentality of, when I applied to med school, like I did not get in the first time I applied to med school. It was very embarrassing.
Mhm.
But I feel like my mom always made it very clear to me growing up that I always need to learn lessons from anything that doesn't work out, like just kind of always figure out why, try to learn from it, and then keep moving forward. And so I would say then when I finally got into med school and was applying for dermatology and doing research, and there's just been many different types of moments where when you feel like you don't get a certain opportunity, if you're really able to kind of channel all of that frustration or
Yeah.
disappointment into learning from some of those difficult moments, it really can drive levels of success later on once you do get through the door. I jokingly will say it just kind of like lights the fire under your butt. So
Mhm.
taking all of those challenges and using them to build up your own resilience. I think that is just one of the most important things that I hope anyone
Mhm.
can work on if they feel they want to get into the position of starting their own practice or being
Yeah.
in dermatology or
Yeah.
being a leader in societies, whatever it might be. I enjoy all of those things that I do, but I think it's a skill set that I have gotten that's really evolved over time.
And were there some people in your life that made those times better, or those transitions from being down in the dumps to getting back up there and trying again easier for you?
Yeah, I mean, mentorship is so important.
Yeah.
I think natural forms of mentorship. So, what I mean by that is, that you have to put yourself out there a little bit and be
Mhm.
vulnerable to people, whether it is someone, you met at a conference or a family friend or a colleague or whoever it might be. But really leaning on people who are a few years ahead of you in the journey and sharing some of those challenges with them to get feedback, get their advice, and keep yourself going. I
Yeah.
find that, they say it like takes a village to raise a child. I think it takes a village to raise a doctor,
Yes.
or to raise kind of like a success. Anyone who's in a position of success, they always are aware that it's just never like the lone wolf mentality. It never works. And
Mhm.
you are only in that position because of all of the people who, opened opportunities for you, but then all of the people who supported you.
Mhm.
I would say, like, I'm very grateful. My own father, who just has supported me so much in like my journey to having my own practice. He's been a practice owner for almost 20 plus years in Memphis,
Wow.
Tennessee. And he actually went, had similar challenges in his pathway towards having his own practice, where it wasn't that he chose to do that, it kind of just lands in your lap.
Yeah.
And I would say for myself, I had three different jobs from graduating in residency training in 2020
Yeah.
to starting my practice in 2025. So it wasn't that I necessarily, knew that I absolutely wanted to, but there was a lot of challenges along the way. And at some point, it became very obvious that that was the decision that made the most sense for me. And it's been very, very challenging, but I'm grateful, to have the support of my parents, the support of my community, of a lot of mentors in dermatology. So I think that for everyone, that mentorship concept is extremely important.
Yeah. Yeah. That's I think that's also a point of establishing some of these connections through UPNA is there's
Yeah.
a ton of mentors and leadership that are just looking to guide students, guide new graduates, and really be there for their community.
Yeah. And also, Samavia, I was going to say at UPNA, it's amazing how, like, because sometimes I do think of these situations in which, you know, we have to count our blessings. And for
Mhm.
some people, like, if their parents are not in medicine, or if their parents are not alive, for South Asians, we do not have long lifespans, right? So for many individuals, if they're in these situations where it's more challenging, I
Yeah.
have found that there are a lot of people in UPNA who I have like adopted as like father-like figures
Pseudo
to kind of
parents.
give me different forms of mentorship
Yeah.
that I think I'm a big believer in intergenerational kind of mentorship, but also friendships. And
Yeah.
you learn so much from people who it gives you, it fills your cup, it fills your energy, it keeps you going in some of the most challenging situations of your life. And I think more people need to be open to like
Yeah.
hanging out with the
Yeah.
uncles, hanging out
Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
aunties, like
Yeah.
just vibing. You don't know anyone, you just sit down. They'll all get to know you in some form or fashion.
We have so
And
many stories to tell and
yeah,
so many things for
exactly.
us to learn.
Yeah.
All right. So, what's something we can look forward to from Neely Dermatology within the next few years?
Oh, that's a good question. Okay,
With
so
you in this construction landscape.
yes, yes. So, it's I struggled a lot with trying to figure out like what I wanted to name my practice, and was thinking, okay, do I use my name? Do I not use my name? Do I go with something more generic, etc.? But ultimately, I landed on I felt like I wanted, like, the practice is me, I am the practice, I am the one starting it. A lot of it is, what's important to me and my brands and my values. So naming the practice after myself, there is like a desi touch to this whole practice. And I feel like for Dr. Baba Rao, I'm sure that's the same, like with Rao Dermatology and his logo and
An
kind of,
elephant.
yeah, exactly. Like it's the coolest part about starting your own practice, being your own boss, having your own brand, where you really get to like kind of make these decisions. But I've had some like really exciting moments of, we're thinking about like, well, what playlist are we going to curate for like
Yeah.
this amazing experience as people walk in the door, the visuals of it, the sense of it, the procedures that we have, the devices that we have, making sure it's both cosmetic laser, but also medical dermatology. Like it's very
Mhm.
important to me that I'm trained as a board certified dermatologist, that I retain that for my patients. But the part that's really exciting is like when I was going through the playlist, I realized that instead of, it's a very vibey, like modern practice. So instead of having this kind of like European house music that I thought we might
Yeah.
have in the background, I've slowly realized like I'm pretty sure the practice playlist is just going to be like Coke Studio
Oh my gosh,
because
I love it. I absolutely love
I'm
it.
like, we're in Washington, D.C. Like
Yes.
people love going to concerts of
Yes.
all forms. I actually went to like an Aruj Aftab concert
Yeah.
at on the wharf, and I was shocked. Like there were so many non-Pakistanis who were at that
Wow.
concert who knew her lyrics, who were singing along to it, who were like vibing to this like
Love that.
incredible Pakistani artist. That I was like, okay, like I'm gonna share my love for all things Pakistani through my practice
I
in
love
like
that. That's
very
beautiful.
white glove, high touch, luxury
Hmm.
ways.
In a
And
very
so I think
nuanced
that's
way.
gonna kind of, yeah, I'm hoping to,
Yeah.
just bring
I
it
love
to the
I
mass
love that.
consumption.
I
Yeah. So
want to be a
that's the part
patient.
that I'm most excited about.
That's so fun. I really just want to walk through your practice and be a patient and listen to the Coke studio and sit in the exam room.
Yeah.
It's going to be lovely. Everything looks so great. All right. Last question. What's the secret to your incredible fashion and style sense? Like not just your Western style, but your Pakistani style is insane. You're always wearing the best outfits in the room.
Oh, that's very sweet. So, oh, this is a very tough one. Actually, I'm gonna say the true secret, I have to
Yeah.
say this because depending on, so I would say the secret is number one, my whole fashion sense comes from my dad. He is way more stylish than I am, and everyone who knows him knows that. So I would say, like, I have to give him credit for
Yeah.
that. And
Fair.
then the part two of that is my mom actually grew up with eight brothers. And
Oh my
so because
gosh.
she had no sisters, like
Mhm.
when my sister and I were growing up, she was just so lovely about the way in which she would like set out our desi clothes with like our
Oh.
chudiya and our purse and our shoes and kind of just create like this whole outfit
Mhm.
for us to get so excited to go to like whatever davat we were going to like every single weekend in Memphis,
Weekend.
Tennessee, because there was like nothing else to do than just socialize
Mhm.
at like each other's houses. And then she just did that for so many years that like I was always very opinionated as a child, but I would say now with time and as like a grown adult, like that combination of my dad's fashion sense and my mom's like kind of meticulousness, it has just my own version of it. Like I'd like to say
Yeah.
it's original, but like it's totally not, right?
Yeah.
Like even, people who know my dad, like my haircut was like totally stolen from
It's all
him.
your
So
dad. That
yeah,
was
oh
your
yeah.
dad's haircut
Like
before it was
people
yours.
know, yeah, if you put his mustache on my face, like we look
Oh my
like
gosh,
twins.
that's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's a whole thing. So I can't, the secret is out.
The secret's out.
But
It's your
yes,
mom and dad.
but I do also, I'd say the true secret for anyone, any woman especially, who really
Hmm.
wants to, whether it's American clothes or Desi clothes, number one, I really don't like shopping online. I'm a
Mm.
big believer in shopping in person, which is much harder to do in
Totally.
2026.
Yeah.
But I think you really have to try everything on and see how it sits on your own body. I really do not care how expensive something is. I think it just comes down to how does the fabric sit on your body? Is it made for your body? And then if it's not, in a lot of situations, tailoring a lot of like the suits that I wear,
Yeah.
I will get them tailored. And a lot of women don't know that like you cannot necessarily buy an off the rack suit. It could be a very expensive suit, but it has to be tailored to your body.
Yeah.
And sometimes that can be a little pricey. So you have to like take that and put it in your budget. But it can really contribute to like this fierce look,
Like,
no matter what body type you are, in Desi
yeah.
clothes or in American clothes.
I
So
love that advice.
that's my
That's
secret.
amazing.
Yes.
That's such
Yeah.
useful advice. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Neely, for being our first official guest on the Suno Upna Cafe series. And our audience is welcome to follow you on on your journey at Neely Dermatology at your Instagram at Neely, NEELYDERM, Neely Derm, on Instagram. So thank you so much for being on our podcast, and
Thank
we
you
look forward
so
to
much,
having you back.
Samavia. This was so much fun. I was gonna say also my personal Instagram is the one that's a little more fun than my practice one.
Okay,
That's
okay,
the like at Dr. Neely, so
okay.
DrNeelykhan. But I
Okay.
didn't even realize I was the first guest. So
Yes,
I'm
you're
like
our first
so
guest.
honored. Yes,
Yeah,
thank you so much for your time. And
of
I'm
course.
so excited that we got to have this chat about APPNA and Pakistan and just all the things that we love. And I'm actually really excited to now watch other episodes
I
and
know.
see what other guests have to
It's gonna be
say and
great.
contribute to the series. And I'm really excited to see you and everyone in July
Yes,
for Orlando Up Night. It's going to be so much fun.
it's gonna be great. Thank you so much.